meaningful movers. Welcome back to Moving With Me, the podcast, where actions have meaning, words have meaning, and we open up the conversations to discover what's your next move. I'm your host, Krystal. In today's episode, it's all about taking a deep breath. Who would have thought that something so involuntary has a right and wrong way to do it? But you know how we do it here. We need to set that theme, so let's go ahead and do that. The word of the day is exhale. This is not a reference to the hit movie Waiting to Exhale. I mean, we aren't holding our breath. Then again, are we? There's the inhale that comes first. What we take in is just as important as what we release. I'm speaking both metaphorically and literally. Breathing is such a natural, simple, yet complex necessity to life that we don't even pay attention until performance or health is involved. I say we take another peek into this because, frankly, I'm intrigued. But that's enough of me talking. How about we introduce our guest? And there's no one better to do that than himself, Alexis. Why don't you give the people a bit of background about yourself and what you're going to share with us today?
Hello, Krystal. Thank you for inviting me into this show. So I'm very happy to be here with you today. So very excited to talk about breathing, about breathwork, and about the power of breath because it's really powerful.
Awesome. I really appreciate this. Listen, folks, Alexis has level 1, level 2, level 3, and there is just so much involved in each one of them. I said, let's just focus on level 1 because I'm just stoked about this. And then we'll continue on with some other episodes. So let's talk about this breath work. What do you have involved with this? Because there's a healthy way of breathing, right? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so breathwork is something I met for the first time like more than 10 years ago. I was working in big corporate companies, in big IT companies. I was really having a very hectic life and I was feeling really unhappy. For me, the society told me that it was very important to work hard, get promoted, to get a better job, to be a manager of managers and to earn more and more salary, like higher salary. And this was my idea about happiness. And then at some point I felt really broken. I felt really unhappy. I was not able to sleep well. So I started to develop some digestive problems. So I became a celiac, so problems with lactose, with different foods. I was not able to sleep well until 3 a.m., 4 a.m. every night. I was triggered by everything around me. And I realized that something was wrong because I was supposed to be successful from outside. Society would say, yeah, you're successful because you have good money, good salary. You look like you are happy. But I was really unhappy. And then I tried therapy, I tried theater, I tried really many different holistic therapies. After some time, I went to Thailand. I was living there in Thailand, trying really many different things. I was trying meditation, yoga. I was trying different therapies there, more alternative, less alternative. And then one day, one person told me, oh, you should try breathwork. Breathwork is really transformative. And I thought, okay, breathwork is just about breathing. So it's going to be, it's just breathing. So it's like meditation. But okay, I went to try breathwork just to breathe, right? It was a room with 40, 50 people doing breathwork all together. At some point after, I would say 15, 20 minutes after we started, everyone was crying, yelling. It was really crazy. It was really wild. And then at some point, I was able to go very deep inside. I was able to see myself in my mom's womb. I was able to see past memories. I was able to release trauma, to release blockages. I was able to feel a lot of energy. I felt like I had so much love, so much forgiveness, so much acceptance suddenly in just one session. And I said, wow, this is the thing. Breathwork is the thing. So I had tried so many things, but breathwork was like, I don't know, like 10, 20 therapy sessions, just 1 hour. And since that, I studied in different breathwork schools. I learned how to use the breath, how to breathe properly, because, we normally don't breathe properly. This is a challenge. We normally do shallow breathing, and this is making us feel like, let's say, more activated or more stressed. But then I started to learn how to breathe properly, how to access my subconscious mind, how to see stuff from the past, how to heal wounds from the past. And it was really, really, really powerful. Yeah, after some years practicing breathwork, I found it Inner Camp. Inner Camp is a school where We teach breath work, we teach also body work, tantra, different practices, and also we help people to become facilitators using those techniques. I've been working with breath work for more than 10 years, and I think this is like a never-ending story, because every time I do breath work, I discover something new. Every time I say, okay, I'm going to do some exercise, short exercise for 5 minutes, I'm going to breathe like in a conscious way, let's say, I discover something new. It's more and more powerful.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Okay, because there was so much going on there. Just the success part, just the definition of success, being a manager of managers and all of that. That's true. And that relates to me because that's what I thought success was. That's what I was building my career off. I was just trying to zoom to the top so that I could sit there. And then I looked around and I was like the same way. And it's interesting that you use the word broken. That's not a common term that people would refer to when they're sitting at the height of their success in what they've determined it to be. They're broken. Some people may refer to that when they're saying, oh, maybe this was some trauma that I had in my life and some physical, mental abuse or something like that. But just being broken from being successful and the drama and the work that needed to go into that also takes a toll on you. I really appreciate you just referencing that term in relation to just working. My God, just the everyday today thing of trying to be the next level or be the best in whatever area you're in. You said you mentioned you went to Thailand. So this became something pretty big for you because you're like, I need to go to a different country. I'm looking for everything at this point. Like you said, you're like, I did therapy, I did this, I did X, Y, and Z. What's interesting about when I say go to Thailand, there's a lot of stuff that is virtual these days.
Yeah.
So for you to literally pick yourself up and say, I'm hopping on this plane, I'm scheduling a sabbatical, some time off, and physically go in person to do this breath work was a big undertaking. I think it was a big call for you. You were physically suffering from this. I've been there. 3 a.m., 4 a.m., you can't go, and you're just laying there looking up, praying like somebody cast a spell on me so I can sleep because I'm tired. I know you're tired. So who's up at 3, 4 a.m. laying in the bed looking up and going like, I have so much energy, I just want to go and run. Not many people are doing that. They're like exhausted, but they cannot sleep. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure I called out your points that you had really made there, as well as the dedication you did to take health into your own hands.
Thank you.
Now you said you went to this place, or you've created a company. Is that what it is that you train facilitators?
Yeah. So since 2018, I have a company, Inner Camp, and then I train facilitators who want to teach, who want to guide people and practice breath work, body work, tantra practices, energy work. We have already trained more than 2,000 people since 2018. I'm very happy to see so many people because sometimes, very often, people can recommend it by our students and they're coming from any place from the world, coming to saying, oh yeah, I tried breath work with this facilitator that studied with you 2, 3, 4 years ago, and then I was recommended, so I'm here. And it's really interesting. For example, I live in Spain. So 2 weeks ago, I was facilitating an on-site training here in Spain, and then I got someone coming from Thailand because she tried breathwork in Thailand from a facilitator that, trained with me like 4 years ago. So it was like, oh, wow, this is really amazing how powerful, the breathwork is and how powerful this movement is as well. So I'm very grateful.
I would say so. Congratulations. It's starting to catch on. And speaking of power, tell me about the power of breath. You mentioned the somatic nervous system.
So first of all, normally we don't breathe properly. Many people breathe through the mouth, and this is not the right way of breathing. This is the first thing, and this is not healthy. Another thing is that we don't breathe in enough oxygen, and very often we breathe through the chest. And also this is not a good way of breathing. It's not healthy. And also this is going to activate the sympathetic nervous system, so we're going to feel more stressed. People with more anxiety, with more stress, with more panic attacks, normally they're breathing through the chest. This is the way we normally breathe. So this means that the way we are breathing is making us feel more stressed, even more stressed than being at work or having like a stressful life or whatever. So also our breathing brain pattern is influencing the way we live and the way we experience life. So first of all, when we learn how to breathe properly, meaning that we breathe through the belly, we can activate the parasympathetic nervous system. But the parasympathetic nervous system is a state where we feel relaxed, where we feel like everything is fine, okay, and then we can rest, we can digest. So this is not the way we normally breathe. So when we stop and we say, okay, now I'm going to breathe in a conscious way, you can really change from this sympathetic to parasympathetic, meaning that you can relax yourself. So it's like you can influence your nervous system. You can send a message to your body and to your mind and say, hey, everything is fine. So I can now relax. I can now feel safe. So I don't need to be worried about the future. And then you can even decrease the effects of anxiety or PTSD or trauma, etc.
That's so true.
Breath is really powerful. There are many people, we have many people who are healing diseases, who are healing symptoms, who are healing asthma, who feel stronger, who have found the mission in their life, the purpose, just thanks to breathing. And we're not talking really about difficult techniques like meditating for 5 hours every day for years. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about just simple breathing exercises.
Absolutely. And you're right. I know when I was having those panic attacks, or if I feel them coming on, I do immediately have to remove myself. Wherever I am, I have to either go to my car if I'm at work, in the bed if I'm at home, and I literally focus on breathing. It's like that's all it is that can calm me down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, you know what, I'm saying that now, but I'm like, was I even doing it right? Because I just remember holding my chest. I remember doing that and trying to take a deep breath. But I guess, I'm just trying to think, how do you breathe through your abdominal? How do you do that? That's where my lungs are. They're in my chest, right? So that's where I would think to do it.
Yeah. There are people who have some blockages and around the diaphragm or on the belly area, so it might be like more challenging for them. But a simple technique would be like to place your hands on the belly and then to just visualize that you're bringing the air to the belly area and then to feel like you are expanding your belly with every inhalation. This is a way. Also, it's very important to relax. Babies, for example, when they go to bed, in general, in their daily life, they are breathing through the belly. We are born breathing properly through the belly. So the problem is that in our lives, we bring more and more traumas, blockages, we get traumatized, we have issues. Our parents ask us to not, for example, be creative or to not talk because we are not adults, etc., etc. So many things are happening in our lives, and this is impacting our nervous system, is impacting us. So people breathe less, more stress, more anxiety, so they breathe less. And this shallow breathing is just through the chest. So you just take the minimum amount of oxygen to survive, basically, is what we are normally doing. And this is about really bringing more oxygen. It's about bringing more healing to your body.
Yeah.
So with training, with practicing, it's possible to do a proper belly breathing.
Okay. I'm going to practice that tonight. Okay. So you also said something about a window of tolerance. What is that? You tell me what that is. What is the window of tolerance? You go ahead. You the expert on here.
Yeah, window of tolerance is basically how much you can tolerate. Imagine that, for example, you are very stressed in your life and then you have traumas from the past. You have a lot of stuff. And then imagine that you are driving and then there is a crazy driver next to you. And then you get very triggered, very angry. And then you say really bad things to this person. And then you still feel bad about that, maybe for 1 hour, 2 hours. And it's really hard for you to come back to a state of, I'm okay, I'm safe, I don't need to be worried or angry because, it's just for a few seconds what happened. And it's not my problem, so I'm safe, so nothing bad will happen. So the window of tolerance is how much you can tolerate in your life. So there are people who cannot really tolerate much. There are people who get triggered very easily. For example, they receive an email from the boss, or they receive just a call on the cell phone and they get triggered, they get concerned. Oh my gosh, who is calling me? What is going to happen? And they are anxious about what might happen in the future. So this is the window of tolerance. This is about coming back to safety, coming back to a place of relaxation thinking, okay, I'm safe, so nothing's happening. So it's normal to have those kind of emotions. For example, you can get triggered when you see a crazy driver because you need to protect yourself. Maybe you need to move your car, and it's important to you because this is what we call the sympathetic nervous system. Your nervous system is supporting you to maybe move your car and then to drive in a different way so that you avoid a traffic accident. And this is very important. But after we avoid a traffic accident, then we are fine. We can come back to a natural state. And many people don't know how to come back to this natural state. Okay. And also many of these reactions are coming from the past. What is happening is that we are activating this survival mechanism and we don't really need it most of the times. So it's like we are anticipating things that might happen in the future and they're not really happening all the time. So when we work with the breath and when we work with these techniques, we try to expand the window of tolerance. Is how much I can tolerate. So I want to increase this window of tolerance. So for me, it's easier to move from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic. So I can come back to a place of safety. I can come back to a place where I'm okay and I don't need to be worried anymore. And breathwork can really help to increase this window of tolerance.
I didn't think about that either. Okay, so this is a good, yeah, you're right, because we do have the survival side of ourselves. And I think that's one of the things is we think we're great at multitasking, but the body doesn't really work that way. And if we got to kind of understand that, how the body works, we can optimize our health. We can optimize, like you said, the window of tolerance, and we can increase a lot more emotional stability and physical awareness as well. Speaking of that, you hit a nerve when you told me earlier where you were like you'd had this experience where you saw yourself in your mother's womb. So the power of breath, the breath work, affects how we are in the body or outside of the body. So tell me a little bit about that.
Breathwork, depending on how you use breathwork, there is breathwork, for example, to calm the nervous system and to feel more relaxed and to sleep better. For example, the box breathing exercise is like you count to 4 for the inhalation, you hold for 7 seconds, and then you exhale for 8 seconds. This is a simple exercise. When you do it before going to bed, you're going to feel very relaxed. There is also breathwork to energize the body, to feel stronger, to improve your performance at sport. And it's possible you feel like stronger. You can do more push-ups, for example. And there is also breathwork, some breathwork that is called psychedelic breathwork because the effects of this breathwork are very similar to psychedelics. And people can feel similar experiences, not exactly the same, but similar experiences. Many people report to see so many wild stuff I have seen and many of my students have seen. So this is possible. So what we are doing here is we are accessing an altered state of consciousness. And when we relax, when we do this kind of breathing, people start seeing memories from the past. They start seeing things that happened in their childhood. They can see themselves in their mom's womb. They're able to see people. They are able to see geometrical shapes. They're able to receive some messages, some insights. Many people who come to this kind of breath work, after the session, they say, oh, I know that I need to quit my job. Oh, I know that I need to forgive someone. I'm going to write an email to them. I'm going to call them because now it's clear for me. It's time to forgive someone, or it's time to accept that I have this situation or this limitation. So all of these things can happen in a breathwork session. Normally those breathwork sessions are for 1 hour or even longer. They are very intense. So you can even sometimes reach some hyperventilation, like short periods of hyperventilation in your body. And then it's when the magic happens. There is like a mystical component in this kind of breathwork, and it's really very powerful.
Yeah. You know what else I think is for folks who aren't prone to therapy, because that requires talking and vocalization, because we learn differently, but we also heal differently. So certain types of ways that we can heal should appeal to us, right? We shouldn't always say, well, therapy, you gotta go talk. It's like, that's so uncomfortable for me. Mm-hmm. In this case, this is a different alternative to healing that brings that out of you. Just like you said, all those different examples of things that are really subconsciously inside. And I think it also will promote whatever was uncomfortable to something that you are now, I might be okay with doing that. It's definitely something that a lot of folks can start with, definitely some folks to end with and continue with, but I think it widens the spectrum for healing that appeals to others who just aren't ready to talk right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is very impressive. So you have some exercises, because you need to give me an example, because I only know about breathing or breath work when it pertains to athletics. So I ran track, and I'm short, which is weird because typically shorter folks run shorter distances, like they're sprinters. I was a distance runner, so I ran like the 800 and the mile. I had to breathe a certain way to suffer in the suck. Like, it stinks to be out of breath and continue running. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you have to learn how to harness that endurance to keep going. But there's a difference between performance breathing and system breathing, which you just explained. So why don't you give us or take us out with an example of your breath work?
Yeah, I'm going to show you one very simple exercise, breathing exercise that anyone can do at any time. You can do, for example, when you are waiting for something, when you are in your office and then you feel like stressed and then you go to the toilet and then you do this breathing exercise. It's very simple. It takes less than 1 minute. It's called 20 connected breaths. And what we do is we breathe through the nose, only through the nose, in a connected way, meaning that there are no pauses between inhale and exhale, exhale and inhale. And we do 4 rounds. In each round, we do 4 short breaths and 1 long breath. In total, it's 20 breaths. Okay? Let me give you an example. This is 1 round. So this will be 1 round, and in total we do 4 rounds. So this is 20 breaths. This is really great for mental clarity. This is really great to get grounded. This is really great to be more present, to forget about any problems, about anxiety, to come back more to the body, to feel more your body. And also you are going to even maybe feel some tingling sensations in the hands. That is very curious. It's very interesting as well. So if you want, we can do it together now.
Me and you?
Yeah,
okay.
Let's do it together.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The whole 20?
I would love to hear your feedback.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. What is it, a countdown? What are we doing?
Yeah, let's do it. Just follow my breath. So let's close the eyes.
Okay.
And if you're listening to the podcast, just find a comfortable sitting position. And then we are going to do it together. So 4 rounds, 4 short breaths, 1 long breath. Let's go. And coming back to normal breathing, your natural breathing. How was it, Krystal?
I think I can do that every morning for sure. You're right. It's grounding. I can't explain it any other way. Like, before you get up and out that bed and do that, or stand up in the mirror before you get your day started, I think that is an excellent practice. It's like you clearing yourself before the day gets started. Because I don't do that. When I wake up in the morning, it's like I'm already doing my checklist. I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this, and I haven't given myself time to just be in that moment of gratitude, be in that moment of life and living, and to actually just say thank you.
Thank you for trying.
Yeah, I love it.
Even your tone of voice changed.
Oh,
after the exercise. Yeah, I feel you like more grounded, like, yeah, wow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to do that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought 20 breaths was going to take a long time, but it is very easy to do. So, Alexis, you gave us some very good information. Tell me you have some golden nuggets just to add some ketchup to recap.
Yeah, so I think it's very important to listen to the body and to take some time to breathe and to connect to the breathing. So belly breathing can be really helpful for anyone to just relax, and also to connect to the sensations in the body, because when we are not breathing, we are in the mind. And my highest recommendation is to really breathe. And when you breathe, you're going to feel more your body. And when you feel more your body, you are going to realize that maybe the job that you have you don't like, or the relationship you have, it's time to change something in your life, etc. So I recommend you to breathe more, and there are plenty of exercises on YouTube, on social media, on Google that will really help you for anyone. And if you would like to really go farther and then to become maybe a breathwork facilitator, you can visit us at innercam.com. Also try long breathwork sessions with me. So we facilitate sometimes 1 hour breathwork sessions where people report really wild experiences, very transformative experiences. And very happy to meet any of you folks to join one of my sessions in the future. Thank you very much, Krystal, for having me in the show today, and I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's the episode today. By now, you have heard about the nervous system in many ways. It's always interesting the power breathing has, but many of us have only heard about it in the athletic domain. So how about it? Are you at the peak of your fitness but struggling mentally or emotionally? Even in your career? Perhaps you've taken a deep breath, but it's not giving the relief you expected in the way you expected. How about that second breath? The third? With someone that deals with anxiety, I completely understand the significance of breathing through. That's why I appreciate Alexis for sharing his experience, insight, and practices to healthy breathing, its significance, the impacts, and the results. I guarantee you won't look at a deep breath the same again. Even if you have experienced the holistic nature of parasympathetic breathing, I want to hear all about your experience and practices. I love it all, and so will someone else. Before I let you go, Alexis, why don't you go ahead and remind the people who you are, where they can find your resources or reach out to you.
So you can find me at innercam.com. So you can find me also on Instagram, Facebook, and also on the website. And we have really plenty of virtual workshops. So I'm based in Spain, but we can meet virtually. I have many workshops virtually. See you there. Thank you very much.
I'll make sure to include all of Alexis's resources and connections in the episode description, as well as on my website's resources page, movingwithmeaning.com. Make sure you guys subscribe to the show, Moving with Meaning the podcast, and tap that alert bell so you know when these episodes drop. I am on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and YouTube Music. Please share, like, repost, and follow. Tag someone. We are creating a community. Quick housekeeping before you go. Follow me on Instagram at movingwithmeaning82. Also connect with me on LinkedIn. I do dabble in TikTok at Krystal B. Clark. My YouTube channel is up. Kindly run over there and have a look or two. Links are in the episode. Alrighty. I'm Krystal on Moving with Meaning the podcast, reminding you to take it one step at a time. All moves have meaning. Check y'all later.